Part 94. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 931. When Xiao nodded, "You go ahead, I'll contact Junling." Lu Yuya called to the people in the public relations department, "Pay close attention to what's going on online. If there are any signs of Lu Su being hacked, clarify it immediately." "I'm paying attention." It was windy at night, and the breeze blew gently on her face. After leaving the compound, the car window was closed. If the paparazzi secretly photographed her with Lu Su at this time, the scandal would start to heat up again. Lu Su glanced at the people around him and said, "My second brother must have been delayed for something and didn't see the call you called him." Zhou Tao forced a smile, "You don't have to speak for him. It's not the first time he hasn't answered my call." Lu Su was frustrated and didn't know what to say. Lu Wenzhou was in the fencing room. He was rejected by Zhou Tao again today and felt depressed. As soon as he entered the mansion, he went to the fencing room to practice his sword. When his cell phone buzzed and vibrated on the small table next to the door of the fencing room, he was practicing the sword with great enthusiasm. The thick hood blocked the sounds outside, and sweat slowly fell from his forehead. Wang Hui was downstairs and sighed softly. "After a while, I saw the third young master coming with Zhou Tao." Lu Su said loudly, "Where is my second brother?" "Second master is fencing upstairs." "Is there anything important?" "I'll go up and find him." Wang Hui quickly stopped him. "Third young master, don't you know? Our second master cannot be disturbed when he is sleeping or practicing swordsmanship." "Not today, I have to find him today." After that, he and Zhou Tao walked to the second floor. Cold sweat broke out on Wang Hui's forehead. The second master's sleep quality is not good, so he is very angry when he wakes up. Another thing is that when he holds a long sword in his hand, it is very dangerous for outsiders to break in. Zhou Tao went up to the second floor with a nervous yet determined heart, walked through the corridor, and walked outside the fencing room. After all, Lu Su was still afraid of his second brother, so he knocked on the door respectfully, but there was no response. He opened the door directly and entered. Opposite Lu Wenzhou was his sparring partner, and the two were fighting fiercely at the moment. He didn't even notice the two of them entering the fencing room. Zhou Tao walked towards him step by step. Walking to the mat, Lu Wenzhou, who had not noticed their arrival, suddenly turned his sharp sword towards Zhou Tao, and Zhou Tao instinctively raised his hand to block his face. Everything happened so suddenly. Zhou Tao felt a sudden sharp pain on the back of her hand, and her waist suddenly tightened. Lu Su grabbed her waist, avoided the tip of his brother's sword, and fell to the ground together. There was a bang. Only then did Lu Wenzhou notice that Zhou Tao entered the fencing room with his brother. But now, Lu Su fell to the ground holding Zhou Tao. He took off the helmet on his head, his hair was messy and wet with sweat, his voice was gloomy and condensed. "Why are you here?" Zhou Tao stood up awkwardly, the back of his right hand hurting badly. Because his sword was sharp and thin, the wound was very thin, and blood oozed out. It didn't look like the injury was serious, but it was actually very painful. Only now did Lu Wenzhou see that her hand was injured, and he said coldly, "What's wrong with you?" Lu Su was speechless to his brother. "You stabbed him." The helmet in Lu Wenzhou's hand was thrown aside. "Did I stab him?" He had gone a little crazy with his sword practice just now, and he had already entered a state of forgetfulness. He could not see the two people who came in. He took a step forward, and Zhou Tao took a step back and said to Lu Su, "Do you have any tissues? Can you give me a tissue? Thanks to Blue Flame, stealing pigs on the 11th, we are closed today, closing time, the reward is vast, thank you." Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 932. Lu Suxian said hurriedly, Wait for me. Lu Wenzhou couldn't help but said, I'll take you to treat the wound. He didn't even know why Zhou Tao suddenly came with his brother. Didn't he give him a cold look at the party just now? And why did he come to the door again not long after? No, it's just a small opening. She was still moving back as she spoke. Zhou Tao was really scared. When he swung his sword just now, she even felt that Lu Wenzhou did it on purpose. Did he do it on purpose? She does not know. Maybe, after all, she embarrassed him tonight, and someone with such a high temper like him must be very angry. Lu Su brought a wet tissue over and put it on the back of Zhou Tao's hand. Although the cut was very small, a lot of blood was shed. The wet tissue was soon stained red, which was shocking to see. Lu Wenzhou saw his brother helping her treat the wound with tenderness and concern, but he couldn't get in, so he could only stand aside and watch. If he made the slightest move, she would step back nervously. She was really afraid of him. Lu Wenzhou felt irritated, but he was also an extremely arrogant person, and he couldn't say any words of defense. Even if he was careless, it was because he was injured, and anything he said seemed to be quibbling. He doesn't like quibbling. Why did you come to see me? Lu Su changed 2 wet tissues and the wound stopped bleeding. He whispered, put this tissue on the wound. It should be healed in a while. The wound is very thin, don't worry. The words of concern were particularly harsh in Lu Wenzhou's ears. But what he asked was ignored by them. He stood there and could only watch them quietly. After finally taking care of the wound, Zhou Tao raised her eyes and looked at him, I'm taking the liberty to come to you. Such an unfamiliar and official tone made him feel annoyed. When he was annoyed, the tone he spoke was not good, not just bad, but very bad. What on earth is going on? Zhou Tao's face turned a little whiter. The scene of you flirting with me at the party just now was filmed and posted online. Could you please Mr. Lu to clarify it for me? I have no personal emotional involvement with you. Zhou Tao said this calmly and objectively. Lu Wenzhou felt his eyelids twitching fiercely. It seemed that he shouldn't have pulled her in on the occasion just now, but he was frustrated that she came to him like this, asking him to clarify his relationship with her. Brother, does he kept calling you just now, but you didn't answer? Don't you want to help him clarify? Shut up, Lu Wenzhou finally got angry. The affectionate name Peach was the last straw for him. He was extremely irritable. Lu Su's heart skipped a beat, and Zhou Tao also took a step back. He really didn't want to, so he deliberately didn't answer the phone. She had even begun to think that if Lu Wenzhou didn't agree, was there any other way for her to prove her innocence? She doesn't want to rely on scandals to become popular, she hopes to conquer the audience with her works. She wants to be a low-key actor, not a star who is involved in various relationship scandals whenever she mentions it. Silence, long stretches of silence. Lu Wenzhou's black hair was wet with sweat, and there was sweat on the tip of his nose. It was about to fall on his lips, and then on his fencing uniform. Zhou Tao also became less and less confident because of the silence, and finally ended the silence, if you don't want to, forget it, sorry for bothering you. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 933. She'd better figure it out on her own. She whispered to Lu Su, let's go. Lu Su was in a dilemma and followed Zhou Tao to the door. His second brother's voice sounded behind him. So what do you want me to do? Zhou Tao looked back at him. He was wearing a white fencing uniform and stood barefoot on the mat. His face had no expression, and his inner emotions could not be seen. Lu Su immediately beamed with joy and rushed over to hug his second brother, that's how it should be. However, Lu Wenzhou pushed his legs away. Lu Su was not annoyed and followed his second brother towards Zhou Tao. What do you need me to do? He stood in front of Zhou Tao. He was so tall that Zhou Tao had to look up at him. Do you have a personal Weibo? Since he agreed, Zhou Tao wouldn't be so pretentious as to say it wasn't necessary. She was not qualified to be willful at this time, and she didn't want to cause trouble to Wen Qiao. No. I'm applying for one now, he said. Zhou Tao licked her dry lips and said hoarsely, thank you. Lu Wenzhou walked to the door and picked up his phone. Lu Su was looking around. Second brother, didn't you know that Zhou Tao called you? Did you enter the fencing room as soon as you entered the mansion? Lu Wenzhou didn't seem to hear his question and asked, how do I apply for an account? Let me help you do it. After speaking, he looked at Zhou Tao with a smile. My second brother hardly surfs the internet. He is quite boring. You should have felt it when you were with him. After speaking, he glanced at his second brother tentatively. Lu Wenzhou didn't have the same experience as him. Lu Su became more and more courageous, and said to Zhou Tao, actually, it doesn't matter if you are divorced, you can definitely find someone who is good to you and more interesting. My second brother is a work machine. If you are with him, quite tiring, isn't it? Lu Wenzhou reached out to untie the waistband of his fencing uniform, took off his clothes, and threw them aside. Lu Su panicked, feeling like his second brother was going to beat him up, and his fingers were flying on the screen of his phone. Finally, the application was successful, and he handed the phone back to Lu Wenzhou. The application is ready, you send a Weibo, wait a minute, let me forward it for you, which will also verify your identity. The mobile phone page has also helped him adjust the Weibo page, and he only needs to enter words into it. Lu Wenzhou took the phone, but his slender fingers paused. He needs to use a paragraph of text to clarify the relationship between him and his ex-wife. How should he post this clarification blog? He's not good at it. So how do you respond? His expression was calm, showing no signs of hostility or anger. Lu Su even felt a little pity for his second brother. The mobile phone was placed on the table by the door. The second brother didn't answer Zhou Tao's call on purpose. Emotional matters were really complicated, and he was also disappointed that his second brother and Zhou Tao had reached this point in the end. Zhou Tao's eyes drooped. Yes, this Weibo post was not easy to post, unlike Lu Su, who directly said categorically that the relationship between the two was just colleagues. She and Lu Wenzhou were married for 2 years. Zhou Tao thought about it and said, Miss Zhou Tao and I are just ordinary friends. I hope the outside world won't spread rumors. Let's just spread it like this. At least for now, they are just friends. The fewer words, the better, so as not to be singled out and stabbed. Even if someone discovers her short-lived marriage to Lu Wenzhou in the future, she will not be lying. Lu Wenzhou closed his eyes and his eyelashes trembled slightly when he heard her words. It took him a long time to write a short line. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 934. Lu Wenzhou, Miss Zhou Tao and I are ordinary friends. I hope the outside world will not spread rumors. The send button was in the upper right corner. His breath was a little messy, and his index finger stopped above the send button. Finally clicked. He could hear Zhou Tao sighing in relief. You can also hear your heart sinking. No one knows about his marriage to Zhou Tao, but everyone knows that he and Zhou Tao are ordinary friends. Is it his punishment? Punish him for not cherishing the people in front of him. He raised his eyes, with a cold look on his face, and pretended to be relaxed. I've also posted on Weibo. I'm going to take a shower. Without giving Zhou Tao and Lu Su a chance to answer, he went out directly. Zhou Tao also went out and looked at his back. The dimly lit corridor was a little depressed and no longer as upright as before. Lu Su actually felt a little sad. is my second brother. He said half of his words but didn't say any more. When he was about to turn, Zhou Tao said, "Thank you." Lu Wenzo paused for a moment, without turning around or stopping. Lu Su joked, "You don't need to thank him. He didn't cause the matter himself. He should help you clarify. They are divorced. How can he still be entangled with you in public? I don't want you to be criticized." Zhou Tao walked downstairs with him. Lu Su added, "It's just that, don't blame him. My second brother has always been accustomed to doing his own thing. He has never had the consciousness to look at other people's eyes, and he has never thought that if he grabs your hand, someone will make a fuss out of a molehill to that extent. When did Mr. Lu need to be so cautious when doing anything?" Zhou Tao nodded, "I know." The two of them left the mansion and stood in front of the huge floor-to-ceiling windows on the second floor. Lu Wenzo held a cigarette between his fingers and watched as his brother opened the car door for her and escorted her into the car. She looked at his brother with a smile and seemed to say, "Thank you." The atmosphere between them was relaxed and pleasant, not as tense as when they got along with him. She felt very comfortable in front of Lu Su. The smoke burned quietly between his fingers, and Lu Wenzo made a call. After a while, Lu Su in the car suddenly said, "The Lu family's legal department forwarded the Weibo post my brother just posted." Zhou Tao looked at the screen of his mobile phone and indeed forwarded it. The mood is a bit complicated. Mr. Lu has issued a clarification blog, and the Lu family's legal department has moved out. Who dares to spread rumors about Mr. Lu? There are also many people who are gloating about the misfortune. Zhou Tao must be stepping on the two young masters to promote herself. Look, they don't give her face at all, so she quickly clarified. A calm netizen replied, "If you really don't give her face, wouldn't it be enough to just say that you don't know her? Didn't you see that what Mr. Lu posted was that he and she were ordinary friends?" Netizens have always picked on the weak and dare not take the two young masters of the Lu family with them. It just so happens that Junling has not responded until now. Doesn't that confirm the fact that he and Zhou Tao are a couple? Moreover, the two of them had just collaborated on a TV series, and they fell in love because of the drama, which was perfect. As a result, netizens and blackmailers began to focus on spying on Junling and Zhou Tao. Wen Qiao was still unable to contact Junling. What his agent meant was that Junling had gone to Europe and was probably on a plane at the moment. Wen Qiao asked his agent, "Can you send a clarification on his behalf?" The agent over there actually said, "I can't make the decision on this matter. Junling has his own opinions. I'm afraid he will be angry when he sees the Weibo I posted for him." Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 935. Wen Qiao was silent for 2 seconds. "Why are you angry? He and Zhou Tao are not boyfriend and girlfriend. They are just clarifying a falsehood. Why are you angry? He still has 2 hours to land. Is it okay to wait until he lands? Junling is their company's only cash cow, and the agent doesn't dare to offend him." Wen Qiao's temples hurt a little. "I know here that Zhou Tao and he are indeed not lovers. I think clarifying this kind of thing requires speed. Don't you think so? There was a careless exchange with her over there, and Wen Qiao knew that he couldn't say anything to her. We can only wait for Junling to contact him after he lands." It was late at night. Lu Su's car stopped at the entrance of Nanqiao Company, and the two got out of the car. A man suddenly jumped out of the dark corner and threw something into Zhou Tao's face. Zhou Tao turned around instinctively, and the liquid still poured on the side of her face, her hair, and her body. When Lu Su realized what was happening, he was already a beat behind. He quickly protected the person in his arms. He was panic-stricken and saw Zhou Tao's face turned red. "Are you okay? It seems to be paint." "Fortunately, it is just paint, not sulfuric acid." Zhou Tao was in a state of embarrassment. The girl was frantically taking photos. Bitch, you hooked up with a top-notch guy in the first filming. Junling, you are the one who can get CP? Don't think that you can do whatever you want just by looking at your face. Brother Junling, I won't fall in love with a flirtatious woman like you. Lu Su was furious. Security, catch her quickly, call the police, and let the police handle it. The girl said arrogantly, do you think I'm afraid of you? I advise you to give up this idea as soon as possible. The duality of fans. Reasonable fans are speaking out rationally, doing charity, and producing beautiful pictures. However, these two-way fans ruined the reputation of the real owner. The behavior of fans has promoted idols, and idols have been implicated as a result. Yes, who knows the name of this girl? She is a fan of Junling. The fan was not ashamed, but proud of her, and posted photos of her splashing Zhoutao paint on the internet. There was smugness in his tone. The girl who threw the paint was subdued, but the video she took quickly spread online. Zhoutao returned to the conference room in embarrassment. The three girls, Lu Yuyu, Fang Duo, and Tong Wei, were so frightened that they all screamed. Wen Qiao's heart also trembled, and he quickly wiped her face with a tissue, fearing that it was blood. What happened? Zhoutao wiped her face with trembling fingers, but the more she wiped it, the worse it became. She pretended to be relaxed and comforted Wen Qiao, it's okay, it's paint, not blood. Don't worry too much. Paint is difficult to wipe off, and the more you wipe it off, the more you apply. Lu Yuyu had already seen the trending video on the internet, and she was so angry that she yelled, "Are you crazy? Don't say that you and Junling are not a couple. Even if they are a couple, can they do this? But it's illegal." Lu Su, she has been subdued. The police will be here soon. Tong Wei searched the internet and said, it says you can use salad oil and some dish soap to remove the paint. Zhoutao took out a tissue and wiped his face. Is there any here? Lu Yuyu, there are some. I'll go to the kitchen to get them. Just wait a moment. After saying that, he ran out. What did Junling say? Zhoutao asked Wen Qiao. Wen Qiao, his agent said he is on the plane and will land in about 2 hours. We have to wait until he lands to listen to what he wants. A solemn statement from our side has been issued. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 936. Zhoutao confessed, Junling expressed his intention to pursue me before, and I said I would think about it. Wen Qiao patted her shoulder, as long as you don't agree, they can't slander you by using you and him to be in love, and you can sue them for defamation. Don't worry, this matter will be handled by the Public Relations Department. With Wen Qiao around, Zhoutao felt at ease. Thanks. She still felt lingering fears at this moment, and she had indeed been seriously considering Junling's pursuit. Now she is afraid that Junling's fans are so crazy. This is just a matter of speculation, and she suffers from such crazy fans. She couldn't imagine how his fans would retaliate against her if she really got together with Junling. Sure enough, it is safest to pursue a career. Lu Yuyu quickly brought salad oil and dish soap, mixed them together, and gently wiped Zhoutao with gauze. Zhoutao is a sensitive and delicate person, and she feels very touched when she is surrounded by people from the company, including Wen Qiao, Lu Yuyu, Fang Duo, Tong Wei, Dong Yao, and Lu Su. This is the only thing she is thankful for. After leaving Lu Wenzhou, she found a good company, a good boss, and good colleagues. She is willing to work side by side with them to build Nanqiao into a top-notch entertainment company in the country. It took Lu Yuyu a long time to barely wipe off some of the red paint on her face, but the marks were still very obvious, and she had to wait for her to go back and clean it herself. Wenqiao, let's take you back first. As for Junling, I'll stay here and wait until his plane lands. I will contact her again. And now that Lu Su and Lu Wenzhou have clarified this matter, the heat has gone down, at least they can't beat you into a watery figure. Zhou Tao, well, I'll go home first, and I'll contact Junling myself later. The group of people, like flower guardians, sent Zhou Tao home. It was already 2 o'clock in the morning. After a long night of hard work, Wen Qiao was a little tired, so he went home with Fu Nanli first. Zhou Tao was the only one left in the room. She poured some more salad oil and dish soap, mixed it, and began to clean her hair. After the cleaning was almost done, I looked in the mirror and saw that the right side of my face was very red. Half of it was due to traces of paint and the other half was due to friction. The phone outside vibrated, and she quickly wrapped her hair and went to the living room. It was Junling who called, with anxiety in his voice, "Sorry, I have seen the comments on the internet. I don't know who took the photos and who leaked them, causing you trouble." Zhou Tao forced a smile, "Then can you help me clarify?" There was a pause. "You said you would consider my previous pursuit. I want to ask, how are you considering it? If possible, we can directly make it official. Do you think it is okay?" Zhou Tao's eyes drooped, and her throat was choked as she recalled the scene of being splashed with paint just now. "I'm really sorry, I probably still want to focus on my career." There was silence for a few seconds. Why? Zhou Tao is not a person who is good at rejecting others. After thinking for a long time, he said, "I have no plans to fall in love for the time being, and you have a lot of fans. I think after we make the official announcement, I will definitely spare no effort to protect you and will not let you be attacked by fans. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me." Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 937. Zhou Tao said calmly, "You are a traffic niche now. Between love and career, you can probably only choose one. You should calm down. Please help me clarify it first." "I'm sorry." Junling's feeble voice came from over there. "I respect your decision, but I will not give up." "Zhou Tao, sorry to trouble you." After that, he hung up the phone. Junling's statement was also posted quickly. Those who brought sharp swords and said with certainty that Zhou Tao was a free-spirited man and had 3 boats with 1 foot immediately changed their direction. As a public figure, she should pay attention to her words and deeds. Anyway, she looks quite charming. Why is the boss willing to come forward to help her clarify? Who knows if there is money and sex trade behind her? Counter opinion. You guys have really let me say everything. If you don't clarify, you will say that someone's style is not right. If you clarify, you will say that someone has a deal with a big boss. Two-faced people on the internet are really good. A beautiful woman is really miserable. She was spread rumors, had paint thrown at her, and finally got beaten up. It's so miserable. When I first entered the entertainment industry, I saw the dirty things in this industry, and the psychological quality of beauties was greatly tempered. Beauty makes me angry. Zhou Tao ignored the war of words against her online and glanced at the clock on the wall. It was already 3 o'clock on a chaotic night. When Qiao also called, Junling also issued a statement. "It seems that nothing is wrong. You should go to bed quickly." Zhou Tao felt warm in her heart. "Thank you for today. You should go to bed quickly." As soon as she hung up the phone, there was a knock on the door. Zhou Doxin mentioned it and walked to the door softly. She was afraid that Junling's fans had followed her to her door. Otherwise, who would come to see her in the middle of the night? Looking out through the cat's eyes, what was standing was Lu Wenzhou. She stretched out her hand to support the wall and let out a long breath. "Why are you here? Why is Lu Wenzhou here?" "Because Lu Su sent him a video of her being splashed with paint. he rushed over without thinking too much. Open the door. Is there a problem? Why don't you hide when someone throws paint at you? The words he spoke were so cold and emotionless. Zhou Tao chuckled, are you still coming to teach me a lesson in the middle of the night? Is Mr. Lu really full? Lu Wenzhou choked, and his voice softened, I'm not lecturing you. Zhou Tao's voice was calm, sorry, I'm very tired today and want to sleep. Lu Wenzhou's heart was filled with panic. She had suffered a lot tonight. She was wronged, stabbed by his sword, and even had paint thrown on her when she returned to the company. Everything seemed to come together. Are you okay? The words were on his lips, but never came out. The conversation changed and he said, I didn't mean it tonight. Zhou Tao was stunned for a moment, remembering that he was referring to scratching the back of her hand with a sword, so she lowered her eyes and saw a long and thin wound on the back of her hand, which was a little red. It didn't look serious, but she accidentally touched it? If so, it would be very painful. It hurt so much that my heart seemed to be torn apart. She licked her eye. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 938. He went downstairs, sat in the car, and looked at the light in her bedroom upstairs. The light was weak and soon dimmed. Wang Hui said cautiously, Second Master, did Miss Zhou let you in? Lu Wenzhou's voice was cold, why didn't she notify me when she came? Wang Hui felt aggrieved, I was wrong. Of course you are wrong. Wang Hui, Second Master, please punish me. Lu Wenzhou lit a cigarette irritably, the smoke coming out of his thin lips. He stretched out his hand to rub the center of his brow, if she comes to see me from now on, there is no need to stop her. Just tell me. Wang Hui didn't know what was wrong, so he asked, will Miss Zhou come to you again? Today I am asking the Second Master to clarify, otherwise there should be no contact between them. A string in Lu Wenzhou's heart seemed to have snapped, and his face was extremely gloomy. Wang Hui later realized that he seemed to have said the wrong thing again and apologized quickly. The Second Master, who usually threatened to shoot him, was not angry at this moment, but just smoked silently, the smoke coming out of his thin lips, and his expression could not be seen clearly. Wang Hui was about to speak nervously. Lu Wenzhou said indifferently, she probably won't look for me again. Wang Hui said cautiously, Second Master, what do you mean to Miss Zhou? Before he finished speaking, he saw a sharp look from his Second Master, I indulged you so much that you started to talk about my affairs, right? Wang Hui broke into cold sweat on his forehead, I'm the one talking too much. Lu Wenzhou closed his eyes, leaned back on the chair, and pressed his eyebrows. In the morning, Wen Qiao nestled in Fu Nanli's arms. She was busy until the early morning, so she did not go home and went directly back to his residence with Fu Nanli. He fell asleep in the car and was carried home without any consciousness. When she opened her eyes, she saw Fu Nanli looking at her with an expression of hatred, how can you sleep so hard? Wen Qiao said sleepily, I'm so tired, and you're by my side. When he was around, she felt at ease and undefended, which was why she slept so soundly. It shows that she trusts him. She picked up the mobile phone on the bedside table, took a look at it, and made sure that Zhou Tao was not on the hot search anymore, and no one on the internet was scolding Zhou Tao anymore, and then she breathed a sigh of relief. The man hugged her from behind, work is more important than me, huh? Wen Qiao lay back in his arms, since you are working, you must do your job well. Fu Nanli touched her head, it's still early, can you sleep a little longer? Wen Qiao lay lazily. The sun was getting longer now. It was only after 6 o'clock, and it was already bright outside. The phone vibrated. It was from Lu Yuyu. Are you online? Wen Qiao's heart trembled. Did she miss something? Is Zhou Tao on the hot search again? Didn't you see clearly just now? It shouldn't be. Lu Su is on trending searches. Wen Qiao covered her heart. Is it still about Zhou Tao? Hasn't everything been clarified? Lu Yuyu smiled over there and said, it was teacher Suliming who posted a 10,000-word movie review. Every word of it was a golden sentence. Teacher Suliming and Lu Su were on the hot search together. Wen Qiao was stunned for a few seconds, and his voice was hoarse. Is it a positive film review? It's very objective. Most of it is the advantages, but it also mentions the shortcomings a little bit. It can be said to be both praise and criticism. In the last sentence, he said that he is willing to give it an 8-point score. 8 points, a very, very high rating. Teacher Suliming is an authority in the film critic field. He can give an 8-point score, which at least shows that he highly approves of this movie. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me. The boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 939. The quality of the movie cannot be disputed. Is that true? Oh my God, can I still lie to you? It's absolutely true, see for yourself. Wen Qiao hooked up his hand and motioned to Fu Nanli to take his mobile phone. The young master became a tool. He picked up his mobile phone and followed Wen Qiao's instructions to open Weibo. He used the app only once in 800 years. Not smooth. Click on the hot search and let me take a look. The young master squinted his eyes slightly and looked at his phone. Where are the hot searches? Wen Qiao gave him a disgusted look, took his phone, put his phone on the pillow, and turned on the speakerphone. Don't you know this? Click here. Lu Yuyu didn't even know that she had turned on the speakerphone, and an ambiguous voice came, yo yo yo, Wen Xiaoqiao, you are in trouble. You are already living with the young master, right? Are you two sleeping together? Does your mother know? This old man, master, is very capable of making you docile and obey his instructions. Fu Nanli's face sank inch by inch, and Wen Qiao kindly reminded her, Yuyu, I turned on the speakerphone. There was no sound from the other side. After a while, he stuttered and said, young master, I will come over and apologize to you. Fu Nanli pressed his temple, old man. Hitting the snake within 7 inches was a very precise stab at Fu Nanli's vitality. Lu Yuyu, no, 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 you are not old at all. This is a nickname to show that I am familiar with you. You can use this method to make jokes or something, haha. Am I familiar with you? Lu Yuyu, for Qiao Qiao's sake, I should still be familiar with you. I was wrong. You really are not old at all. Wen Qiao was too lazy to pay attention to them. He clicked on his phone and saw that hashtag Suliming Dianping followed hashtag all the way, hashtag Lu Su and Suliming hashtag were in the top 10 of the hot searches. Yuyu, you didn't spend any money on this hot search, did you? Fu Nanli's breath was heavy and he didn't want to disturb her when talking about work. He would have to cross-examine him in a while. She would call him whatever he wanted in private. I didn't spend money. I saw that teacher Suliming posted this movie review at 4 o'clock in the morning. Apparently he started writing this movie review as soon as he got back last night. As soon as this movie review was posted, it immediately became a hot search topic. Wen Qiao swiped her phone and opened teacher Suliming's Weibo first. It was a film review full of true feelings. It commented on all aspects, focusing on praising Lu Su's acting skills. Teacher Su said, it was beyond my expectation. I didn't expect Lu Su's performance to be so sincere and touching. However, as soon as this film review came out, the internet was not unanimously applauded. The Black Men Had a Carnival, the last pure land in the entertainment industry has also been polluted by capital. Teacher Suliming will definitely die in the evening. I have to say that the Fu family is really powerful, there is no one that the Fu family can't bribe. Money can make all the difference, the power of capital is so powerful. Teacher Suliming's Weibo post was taken advantage of by the scumbags, and all the slanderous comments were pushed to the front row. Lu Su, as an actor who has only filmed 2 toy TV series and is constantly involved in scandals, what kind of die-hard fans can he have? Without die-hard fans, who will help him fight against gangsters? As a result, Suliming's Weibo was unbearable to look at. It was full of sunspots, and it became a gathering place for sunspots to have a carnival. Who among them is fishing in troubled waters? First, the company where Sulu worked originally wanted to poach Tongwei, but it didn't work out. Moreover, Shenghua's first sister and Zhou Tao had snatched resources, so the old and new grudges naturally turned against each other. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 940. The other is the company of actress Yatang. If Wen Qiao becomes another actor, this small studio company will not be underestimated in the future. Lu Su must not explode. This movie must be a hit. In addition, there are fans of several popular girls who were dumped by Lu Su. Of course, they cannot see that a love-hungry man like Lu Su can explode. This wave of blackmail is to prevent explosions, to prevent the movie from being a hit, and to seize the opportunity to badmouth the movie first. The audience's enthusiasm for watching the movie will naturally be wiped out. Lu Yuya groaned and said, I have arranged public relations here. The gangsters spend money to control reviews, and we also spend money. Sister, I am short of everything except money. When Lu Su has his own die-hard fans, there's no need to be so tired. Wen Qiao nodded, well, public relations still needs to be done. This era is no longer an era where the smell of wine is not afraid of the depth of the alley. There are really good products that have been hacked by the scumbags until they rot in their own hands. If you need to fight back, you must fight back. The internet war is about to break out. Wen Qiao was too lazy to pay attention to the keyboard warriors on the internet. He put down his phone and stretched. The man's hoarse and low voice sounded, so in front of Lu Yuyu, you all call me old man, right? Wen Qiao's heart skipped a beat and she forgot that there was still this problem waiting for her. How is that possible? She doesn't usually call you that. I don't know what happened today. She had a brain convulsion. She just wanted to liven up the atmosphere and tease you. As soon as she finished speaking, she was kissed by the man. It wasn't until 9 o'clock in the morning that Wen Qiao received another call, still from Lu Yuyu. Lu Yuyu has been put on Master Fu's blacklist for those who twice disturbed his and Qiao Er's tenderness. What happened again? The nominations for the Golden Plum Awards are out. Wen Qiao thought, how is it? Are there any nominations for following along? Lu Yuyu's voice couldn't contain her excitement, nominated for 4 categories, Best Actor, Best Actress, Best Director, and Best Screenplay. Those are the most important awards, and all of them were shortlisted. Lu Su is nominated for Best Actor, right? This is the first movie he has acted seriously, and being shortlisted for the first one shows that the organizing committee recognized his acting skills. It also confirms from the side that Teacher Suliming's comments are fair and objective. Yes, and do you know who the other 3 people were shortlisted with him? Who? The Troika of Bihai Road, Teacher Xiao Zishan, Teacher Liang Junhao, and Teacher Song Minan. Lu Yuyu felt goosebumps as she said it. She was shortlisted together with this veteran actor, which just showed the professionalism of the organizing committee. Wen Qiao raised an eyebrow and said, Lu Su's level has gone up all of a sudden. She, Wen Qiao, is shortlisted for the most authoritative film festival together with the powerful veteran actors. She, Wen Qiao, does not have such great abilities. No, This grade is not as high as usual. The black guys have turned into lemon essence. Let them go away. We Lusu are beautiful alone. We will definitely not have to worry about the box office now. Wenqiao, yeah. Following all the way, this movie has not yet become popular. The scumbags have always wanted to suppress this movie. However, with the most authoritative recognition, all their unsavory actions have become more popular for the movie. Many celebrities in the industry are very sore. This little Mr. Wen is pretty, has a rich, handsome boyfriend, and the celebrities he signs are becoming popular one after another. This is a script for a female protagonist. Moreover, it is also a drama with a female protagonist in the Shuangwen mode.